All right, welcome in. Happy Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day weekend. No days off around here. We're right here. It's just a normal Monday to us. It's actually not a normal Monday because like the whole league is playing. We got pretty much a full slate of games all day long. So excited about that. Bryan Leonard, I'll go to you first. I saw you had what ended up being somewhat of an improbable 5% win last night. So tell the folks about that. You can obviously get those NHL plays as part of the all access specials that we have on the site. And then go right into Yankees Royals, which will be our feature game today.
Yeah. Been doing really well in the playoffs, both NBA and NHL. And I released a 5% on Colorado under 3.5 goals last night. I thought they did deserve to be a slight favorite in the game, but the line was a little bit too high for me. But I said, as well as Vegas is playing defensively, there's no way they're going to score 3.5 goals. And they scored 3 goals in the first period, and I'm getting ready to turn the channel, and my wife is yelling at me. And then all of a sudden, I kept looking. I go, hey, 3-1, 3-2. They ended up shutting them out the last 2 periods, and I won my bet. So sometimes you get lucky on that game. I thought I still had the right side, but those 3 early goals put me in the hole. But hey, we won it. I won it for clients, and I'm extremely happy for that. For baseball today, let's take a look at this first game. We're looking at the Yankees of Kansas City. Current line on this one is the Yankees with Warren is about a 135 road favorite against Waka with a total of 9. The Yankees right now, from a pitching standpoint, they are going with Warren. Warren's been pretty good. He's been very good all season long. I still, as I mentioned a lot, I think he's still a little bit better at home than he is on the road, but this is a pretty good, even though they brought in the fences a little bit, this is still a pretty good pitcher's park. From the bullpen standpoint, they did have nobody pitched on Saturday, and then they only had to use Cruz and Hill for less than 20 pitches yesterday. So the bullpen's in pretty good shape there. From a hitting standpoint, they're doing all right. Trent Grisham is doing pretty well. Chisholm's starting to wake up. Bellinger's playing well. Rice and Judge have been great all season, but they have not been hitting well lately, and that's always a concern. Kansas City, the Royals are a team that has been a little bit of a disappointment. They did have to use Urseg yesterday, but he hadn't pitched all week. But he did throw 32 pitches, so I don't think he's going to be available tonight. But other than that, the bullpen's in pretty good shape. And they got Michael Wacha on the mound, and as I've said before, the Lugos, the Wakas, even Cameron's starting to come back around again. And Stephen Kolek coming out of nowhere since they picked him up. So, Kansas City's getting some good pitching right now, but that hitting is still a major concern. Vinny Pasquantino is hitting about 200, and he's only had like 5 home runs all season. I'm kind of worried about him. And Salvador Perez is good, but he's getting really old. So this is a team right now that don't have a lot of power. Obviously, Bobby Witt, one of the best players, if not the best. Now he's not the best, but he does play shortstop, which gives him a little bit of an edge over some of the other guys. But he's not having the greatest of seasons. So right now, if I'm playing, I'm laying on the Yankees. But I'd like to see it get down to 130 before I grabbed it. Right now, 135 is out there. 134, 133 is about the lowest that we see.
TB, let's get you in here. I know you've always kind of liked Will Warren, maybe even higher than the market on him. I feel like I've liked him since he was down in Scranton. So I certainly agree with that. Little bit of a letdown spot for both teams, maybe. Yankees coming off the walk-off win yesterday. The Royals taking both games over the weekend against the Mariners. So how are you seeing Yankees Royals?
Yeah, I had a decent weekend as well. Didn't win a 5% play. I didn't have a 5% play, but I think I had a winning day each day over the weekend, so you can't complain about that. So looking at this game, Waka's pretty up and down. Not really sure what to make of him sometimes, but if you look at his statistics against these Yankees, holy cow, 136 at-bats against a massive sample size. A 140 batting average against and a 466 OPS. Doesn't get much better than that. And looking at the Yankees team total in the first half, it's 2.5. I think it's a little inflated there. So if I were to bet this, I would probably look at the Yankees team total under. The Yankees you get a Yankee tax not only on the money line, but you also get a Yankee tax on the team totals, because the book, whether the Yankees are slumping or not, the book always gives them a little too much credit, in my opinion. I have the Yankees ranked 22 right now in current form and hitting, despite having probably the best pure natural hitter in the league in their lineup. So yeah, I would probably look at the Yankees under 2.5 in the first 5, perhaps. Might make it my parlay leg. We'll see how the show goes.
Yeah, this is an interesting game. So, of course, feature game for us because this is on ESPN. Apparently, ESPN, like, they got out of the Sunday Night Baseball game, and now they just, like, kind of come in every once in a while, maybe like a holiday. They had that random doubleheader a couple of weeks ago. I know Brian's, like, laughing because he's like, I don't even look at what channel these games are on. But listen, growing up, like when I was growing up, like Baseball Tonight, that 90s era, like ESPN was like baseball. So it's just funny to see them air a game whenever they feel like it every once in a while. I don't think that's relevant at all here, but I do think, the really interesting matchup because Michael Wacha is like the definition of like just a consistent, like it still blows my mind that he's been as good as he's been as long as he's been this good. And he almost never has a bad year. So I look at his numbers this year and I say, well, I don't know if he's going to keep that up. 2.70 ERA, 1.03 whip. But then when you look at his numbers, like the last, since the pandemic pretty much, which will give him a break because that was just a weird time for everyone. I'm not going to really hold it against him for having a bad year that year. The dude has had a low 3 ERA or mid 3s, low 3s every single year since then. So, he's not a guy I really want to go against here. Warren is someone that I do like, but I don't like him when he's starting to get the Yankee tax that TB brings up. Well, Will Warren to me is the guy, at least the last couple of years, that you've been able to sort of bet on and get a good price on, right? Like he was sort of the odd man out in the rotation where it would come around. You'd have like Cole, Rodon, all these guys would always be big favorites. And then the Yankees would come in and it'd be like, oh, they're minus 120 today, minus 115. Why is that? That's because Will Warren's on the mound. And he was a little bit of an unknown. He's not really that anymore. I think the Yankees are inflated over here. I just wanted to pull up the price as it stands right now. See, now it's taken money in the last like 10 minutes. Before I got on air, Royals plus 1.5 was only like minus 125. That was intriguing to me, but it looks like a little Royals money has dropped in literally the last 15 minutes. It's got that up to like minus 130, minus 135. So I don't like it as much there, but I don't hate the idea of taking the run head start with the Royals here. It's Yankees winning a walk-off yesterday. Now they got to go out to Kauffman Stadium, day game. Kind of feels like a weird spot for the Yankees. We have baseball all day, so check out our packages. Double play, you can get 2 of the people that you are seeing on your screen right now. I hope to bounce back. I had a good week going last week. I had a 5% winner on Thursday. And then the last 3 days, I just can't seem to get a timely hit. But hopefully we'll turn that around today. Yes, Slick Vic, thank all the service members for their service, because that's why we get to do shows like this. And we don't have to go do that. So it is... should go without saying. Mark Lambert says happy Memorial Day. We'll echo that sentiment throughout the show, and we'll get back to more games. Slick Vic, I'm going to come to you. He says Ben Brown for the Cubs, been pitching pretty good lately. I think this is another early one. Tokyo Brandon, I'll let you kick this one off. This is Cubbies Pirates, another day game. How are you seeing this one?
Yes, this is an early one. Ben Brown, one of those guys who you love him or hate him. I don't really love him or hate him. I think he's pretty good though. But Mlodzinski is pitching not inspired right now. I guess against these Cubs, he's been whacked pretty good. 71 at bats against with a 310 average, 732 OPS. Not the OPS isn't too bad, but the average is pretty bad, which means he's given up a lot of singles and not getting lucky. So against the Pirates, Ben Brown's got 23 at bats against 261 with a 694 OPS. So Ben Brown has the better head-to-head numbers, but they're not significantly better. Cubs, were just absolutely crushing the ball at the beginning of the season, but now they've dropped all the way down to 28th out of 30 in current form. They've been ice cold, and they've been getting killed by teams like the Astros, who are just playing really uninspired baseball. So I have the Pirates with the hitting advantage, but I have the Cubs with the bullpen and pitching advantage. So to me, those numbers are a little too conflicting. So I'm going to stay off it and not spend any more time of the show talking about it.
Brian, let's get you back in here. You've liked Ben Brown. I've liked Ben Brown. Do you have any interest in the Cubbies today?
Yeah, Brown and the Cubs are about a 118 to 120 favorite right now with a total of 8. Both the righties, Brown and Luzinski. I actually kind of like both of these starting pitchers. But the Cubs offense is still struggling. The top 3 guys they've had the last couple of days in Armstrong and Horner and Bush have been okay. But the rest of them have been struggling. In fact, Ian Happ is number 402 in the last 7 days. They've given him the last 2 days rest to just try to clear his mind. And I think this entire Cubs offense needs to take those days off to clear their minds, because really none of them have been very good as of late. None of them are in the top 100 over the last week. From a pitching standpoint, I really like Ben Brown, and he's number 101 on the season, 68 over the last 14 days. So he's done very well. He's been their best pitcher lately, as Shota got Shota up in his last game. And other than that, they brought up Jordan Wicks because they had another injury from another pitcher. They've got a lot of guys that Boyd, Cabrera, Orton, and Steele all injured right now, and those are 3 of their 4 or 5 guys that would be the top of that organization from pitching. But the Cubs are not hitting right now, and there's no way I could be on that side. From a Pittsburgh standpoint, I believe they're still in last place, but they got a winning record. It's been a really tough division overall. Horowitz is hitting the ball very well right now, and Brandon Lau's been there all season long. The top 3 guys are all in the top 100 from the pitching standpoint. And Ledzinski's he's ranked 32nd over the last 14 days, 109th on the season, but he's in good pitching form right now. Soto, Montgomery, and Ramirez, they're 8, 9, and 7, 8, 9 guys all had to pitch yesterday. I would think Ramirez is out. He's pitched 35 pitches the last 2 days. But other than that, everybody else is available. So if I'm playing, I like Pittsburgh in this one as a slight underdog. If I could get a little bit more, I may be more interested in that. But as Tokyo was saying, there's better games on the board, so I'll probably end up passing. But I do have a slight interest in Pittsburgh here.
Yeah, so last time out, I went against Wadzinski. I am not as high on him. I think he's going to ultimately be out of this rotation at some point. Why Jared Jones hasn't come back is someone's going to have to explain that to me. Again, he pitched over the weekend, was fantastic. I don't know how much more you have to see. He's had like 5 or 6 starts in the minors. Dude's throwing 90 something. Just goes out and shoves every single time, and yet he's still down there.
Yeah, he'll be back, I believe, next time. He's got maybe one more, but next time I would assume that he would be back.
Yeah, and it's probably one of those things where it's like it might be just trying to conserve innings, right? Because his average start in the minors typically about 4 innings or so. I think he's gone 5. But the point is, I mean, if you've watched him, you're like, okay, like he's fine, like he's totally fine. He should. And you talk about the Pirates. Obviously, I was very high on the Pirates coming into the season. I still am. You made a great point, Brian. They're just in a really, really tough division. I still think they're a pretty good team. So here, even though I do like Brown, I think Brown's got a nice edge pitching wise. Mlodzinski, the reason I'm not as high on him, gives up a ton of hard hit. Expected batting average is 285. That's a bottom 10% mark in Major League Baseball. Average exit velo, bottom 3% of Major League Baseball. So you give up a lot of hard hit. The expected numbers for your the ERA and batting average are high. Doesn't get much swing and miss. That's not great. But the like you said, I'll go back to your point. The Cubs look so collectively lost at the plate right now at times that it's like, if he can just get you through 5, the Pirates do have some decent options in the bullpen. And that's kind of why I think I'm going to pump the brakes here on a Cubs play. They just have not played very good baseball the last couple, maybe last week or so. All right, someone's like, PCA should be investigated for gambling. Those fielding errors are insane. That's a whole different story. Sometimes I just think like I think he just loses focus sometimes. Yeah. He's been doing this for a while where his head goes somewhere else.
Yeah, he's been hanging out with Anthony Volpe too much.
Such a great fielder, and yet he blows the easy ones, and that's what's frustrating.
Yeah, he'll make an insane play, and then he'll botch a routine one. That's just focus right there, in my opinion. All right, let's go to this one's interesting. I do have an opinion here too. So Ed Olson, 539. Hope I said the name right. Says, what do you think about the Phils on the West Coast today? That is one. So yes, they are. Brian, the Phillies head out west. They just played your Guardians and did not have a ton of success the last few days in Cleveland. Now they're heading out to Petco Park to face none other than Randy Vasquez, who, like Tokyo Brandon says, the Padres are his kryptonite. I'll get more specific. Specifically, Randy Vasquez is my kryptonite because every time I try to go against him, the dude comes out and throws 7 innings of 1-run ball. So the question here is he going to do that today against the Phillies? Because I kind of like the Phillies, but I'm scared every time I bet against Vasquez. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, we've got Luzardo, a lefty, he's about a 120 favorite here with 7.5 on the total for Vasquez. The Padres don't hit lefties. They've got a very bad WRC plus on the season against lefties. The problem is Luzardo, and I'm sure TB will touch on this. He's either been great or he's been terrible. That said, I don't think either one of these offenses are in great shape right now. The Phillies faced a good Cleveland rotation, and for the most part, they did not play well. Now, the weather had an effect there. We talked about that the other day. I mentioned that I think it was on Saturday's show that there was 3 games that could be rained out. Philadelphia was the one that they were able to play, but it was ugly, and the other 2 were rained out. So there has been some weather concerns back there, but I like Vasquez. If you take away the name and you just, let's say it's a guy that just brought up for the minors the last couple of years, you'd be betting all over. You'd say, how the hell is this guy an underdog in this game? So I think Vasquez has made some changes, obviously, the last couple of years with his pitch selection. And a lot of guys are doing that now. And what I really like is they've got guys that have a lousy fastball, and they would continue to throw the fastball. That's Suzuki right there for the Dodgers. And now they're starting to come up with other pitches so they don't have to throw the fastballs often. That is good. Guys are macho. They want to be. That's why you don't see many knuckleball pitchers in baseball or many curveball pitchers in baseball, because the guys get, the other guys on the team give them hell. They go, hey, throw the damn ball, And so those are the kind of guys I kind of like. They're like underdogs. So I'm somewhat interested in San Diego here with Vasquez as an underdog, because Luzardo to me is just he can be great, no doubt. He can come out and throw a no-hitter. He's got that kind of stuff, but he's been so inconsistent, and I don't trust the Phillies bats at this point. So I'm slightly interested in San Diego.
TB, jump in here. Phillies Padres to you. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, let me do a promo real quick. Double play, 2 of us 3 days, huge discount. And if you only like one guy, you can pick any WagerTalk capper. 3 days is 30% off. And we also have long-term deals as well. You can get Brian's hockey, basketball with single capper play as well. So let's jump into this one. Randy Vasquez. He's interesting because I agree with you, Adam. It's so hard to back him, and it's so hard to go against him because he'll kill you either way, it seems. He has great numbers. He's got a sub-3 ERA right now, but my numbers, including the expected stats, have him ranked 20 out of 30 on a curve of 30. So he's in the bottom 1/3 in rankings. And as I said last year, never bet against Jesus. But this year, I think betting against Jesus is not so bad because he's been a little inconsistent. I do have him ranked around 13 on a curve of 30, but if you look at the head-to-head stats, pitcher against batter, both of these pitchers have been clobbered by the lineups they're facing today. Tatis, Machado have done a number on Luzardo. So maybe a hitter prop for either one of those guys, hits, runs, RBIs, or the total of 7.5 kind of seems low to me as well, because these lineups are loaded. These are two really good lineups, although in current form, they're not ranked very high, but they do have the star power and the names. Both bullpens pretty good, so that's kind of scary. But if anything, I do an over, or I do a Tatis or Machado hitter prop.
I think I'm figuring out a little bit what Vasquez is doing, and it's why I'm probably going to stay off this game, because this is like Phillies money lines, like right in my wheelhouse for like things I would normally bet. You look at so the underlying metrics for Vasquez are still poor. Like they're not poor, but they suggest that he should be getting hit harder than he is. But his fastball command is much, much better than it was previous in his career. Basically, where he throws it, top quadrant of the zone. So he'll throw it up and into righties, and he'll throw it away from left-handed hitters, but he's hitting that top outside corner. And because of that, this dude, we've always talked about this with Vasquez, even when he was in the Yankees organization, even when he was down in Scranton. I was watching him in Scranton. The guy throws 7 pitches. So he's one of these guys that's got 7 or 8 different pitches, and you're like, and for the longest time in his career, it was 7 very average, mediocre pitches that didn't really play at the big league level. Now his fastball command is much better. I think it's just made his other pitches tougher because he gets ahead in counts. So he's throwing the fastball. It's not really getting hit. So he dots it, gets ahead in the count. And now he's got 6 different pitches he goes to, really more like 5 with any sort of regularity off that fastball. And he's just got guys confused. It's something we've talked about a lot on the show. I'm gravitating more to these pitchers now. I was actually interacting with Kurt Schilling on Twitter, going back and forth, and he's basically talking about, guys just don't pitch at all today. There's just not enough of them. And I think we're starting to see slowly, there's some guys that are coming up, and they're more pitchers than just, hey, let me throw it. Like Luzardo is a great example of like a thrower, right? Like his whole thing, in my opinion, was always just to throw something up there that's really nasty. Whereas you got a guy like Randy Vasquez, who's clearly like starting to understand the art of pitching, getting ahead with that fastball. And then these hitters don't know what's coming. It's a changeup, curveball, 6 different pitches. I think that's why he's having a good season. So I'm less inclined to fade Vasquez here. All right, I'll go to this one. Let's see. Brandon Burns says, why are the Rays so cheap? O's spot and under 7.5. So the O's had a doubleheader yesterday. They played the Tigers. They walked off the first one with a 3-run homer at the end of the game. Kenley Jansen blows the save, and then they get beat in game 2. Not the best spot for the Orioles today, in my opinion, Brian. I'll let you start this one off. They quick turnaround, played a doubleheader, and now you've got the early game against Shane McClanahan. Rays Orioles to you. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I thought the money would come in on Tampa Bay, and it seems to be that Bradish, there's a lot of people expecting Bradish to look as good as he's done his last 2 starts, and I can understand that, but McClanahan's been great all season. Baltimore finds ways to lose. Tampa Bay finds ways to win. And you're getting him in near a pickup situation. I see as low as 115 out there, as high as a 130 at one place, but basically in the 120 range overall, with a total of 7.5, 8 to the under. It opened 8.5 to the under, and that was quickly taken away, and I can understand that, definitely. But for Tampa Bay, they've got a team that continues to play well. Their hitting is a little hit and miss, but I really like their pitching from a reliever standpoint. In the last 2 days, Kevin Kelly had to pitch 14 pitches yesterday, but other than that, nobody else has pitched on Saturday or Sunday, so they've got their full regard of the bullpen, including Brian Baker, who's been great all season. And McClanahan's been very good. This is one, you talk about starting pitching and the lack of it a lot of times in Major League Baseball. This entire pitching staff for Tampa Bay has been very good. The only one that's not in the top 100 is Griffin Jackson. That's because he started the year as a closer, and he's still getting stretched out. So I think the season looks right there for Tampa Bay to continue on with this. Now, obviously, they've had a lot of success in one-run games. I believe there's something like 11-1 in one-run games. Eventually, that's going to change, but a lot of that has to do with the back end of your bullpen, and they seem to have settled that down right now. Clevenger came into the season, and he did have an injury, but he came into the season as one of the guys that they thought he and Hunter Biggie would be right there. And those guys are pitching in like the sixth inning right now. So they've got a lot of good arms in this bullpen for Tampa Bay, and I definitely like that. From the Baltimore standpoint, yeah, I watched that home run. I was sitting with my brother-in-law, and he had the team that lost, and he was going crazy, but that's just the way it is. Kobe Mayo got hurt a couple days ago. He's still not back, and I don't think he's coming back at this point, this early. But from a bullpen standpoint, they're in pretty good shape. Problem is, the Baltimore bullpen right now is it's a bunch of no-name guys you don't really trust. Rico Garcia looks like he's the new closer of the moment, but we'll see how that goes. He's looked good so far this season. Very good, as a matter of fact, but we'll see how that goes. But Bradish, last 14 days, he's number 33, and this is Roster Resources numbers on Fangraphs. I know the season he's 73, so he's been their best pitcher, no doubt about it, other than the early season struggles. But I don't know if I trust Baltimore. I really like what Taylor Ward's been doing. He doesn't swing nearly as much as he did last year, doesn't chase as much, and he's really turning into a hell of a ball player out there. And Gunnar Henderson actually hit a home run yesterday, and that's a guy who has been their best coming into the season. They were expected to be the best hitter along with Alonso, and he's starting to come around. So maybe Baltimore's future is looking better, but at this point, in a game in which you just pick the game and you flip a coin, pick the game, I'd much rather have Tampa Bay. They're better coached. Nothing against the Baltimore coach. He came over from Cleveland, but he's young. But I'd prefer Tampa Bay in this game.
Yeah, TB. We've got, of course, McClanahan. Bradish has looked better. The strikeouts have been piling up the last couple starts, so you got to like to see that. But pretty good pitchers on both sides. How are you seeing Orioles Rays?
Yeah, if you look at my Twitter X, I put up my pitcher matchups for today's starters, and both of these pitchers rank pretty high on that list. You guys are a little more higher on Bradish than I am. I'm not a big fan, as we discussed the last time he started. And I especially don't like him today. I especially don't like Baltimore's, like Brian mentioned, I don't like their bullpen, and I don't like their spot coming off a doubleheader while Tampa finished their game kind of early yesterday and are just sitting around waiting. So that means something. These guys are human beings, and that double headers are real taxi. If you ask these guys, what's your biggest, what do you hate the most? They hate having no rest playing double headers. They really hate it. So, but it doesn't affect the pitchers, but it does affect the hitters. So I think the Orioles should be flat here. McClanahan's got good numbers against these batters. Tampa is batting number 1 in MLB. So I don't see how you could take Baltimore. And I do think the line is a little gracious, shall we say.
Listen, I know people want picks. You know, this show is, we've said it a million times. I think I was in the chat fighting with people over the weekend. Like, no, this is, this show is we're trying to give out information, but we do give out picks. Sometimes we give out opinions. Sometimes your boy comes on here and just gives out one of his client plays. I like to do that after I have a losing day. I appreciate the support at all times, but if I've lost a couple, I'll come out here and give one for free. So the Rays is a client play for me today. When it dipped down to -1, I think Brian said -115. I actually took it at -118. I couldn't believe it even got that low. Brian, like you, I expected the Rays to be the team taking money, and they were up at -130. I said, well, I don't know if I can play them here at -130. I almost did. I'm actually glad I didn't. I ended up sort of getting, earning myself, earning, I don't know if that's the right term, but I got an extra 10-cent discount, if you will, 12-cent discount. So yes, I've been pro Kyle Bradish, but if you remember, I was pro Kyle Bradish turning around from being a total disaster. It doesn't mean I'm not willing to fade Kyle Bradish. And here, I think I'm getting the better starter in McClanahan. So it's like, even though Bradish has been better, I still think I'm getting at least a comparable starting pitcher. And the Orioles just played a doubleheader. They now have to play a day game. And as Brian said, they have a bullpen full of no-names that has overachieved. And don't sleep on the Kobe Mayo injury, because Kobe Mayo was starting to hit. So he had a really poor start to the year, but he was part of that sort of mini surge that the Orioles had. Big home run against the Yankees to steal a win there. I think he had another one where he walked it off. So that injury might matter a little bit more than the odds makers are kind of suggesting here. I thought he was playing great for them for a while. So Rays -118, 4% play for your boy. It's an early game. Let's get it going early. That's my Memorial Day holiday gift to you guys. Hopefully it's a gift. Hopefully it doesn't lose. Then you're going to be like, Trig ruined my Memorial Day. So that's also going to be my parlay leg. We'll kick it off with Rays -118.
Wow. All in there. Remember what happened the last time we all agreed this much? And the chat is agreeing with us too. It's kind of scary.
I did see that. So Steve says, you're kind of lucky if you're getting -125. I don't know what the deal was there, but that definitely, maybe you had a little market manipulation. But when I got on the show, it was -130. I had it jotted down. See if basically I read all my notes out by hand, very old school. I said Rays -120 or better with a star. I'm watching the board here. I see it dip down to -118. Jump on the WagerTalk app. Fire it in. Brian says it dips as low as -115, right back up to -125. So the numbers do move while we're on this show. Take that into consideration. I will say this. Still love them at -125. No problem with -125 there. I think they are a good bet. I would say even up till -130. I was very close to firing that in before we got on the show. So I do like that one. Real quick, got to go to Mark Lambert. He says, what is everyone grilling today? I'm going over my parents. My dad has been making ribs since yesterday. So I think he started cooking them like yesterday. And we will probably sit in the rain and eat them because it's been raining all weekend. Although apparently we might get sun around 4:00. But it has rained pretty much all weekend here in the Northeast. Anyone else? What about you two? Anyone got Memorial Day plans? I know Tokyo Brandon's not really a thing there, but I didn't know if you still acknowledged it. At least you can, watch baseball all day.
I'm American, so of course I acknowledge it. I have 7 uncles. My mom has 7 brothers, and 5 of them served in Vietnam. So yeah, it's a good day. I thank them every Memorial Day. So I'm American at heart, even though I live overseas. But yes, we do not grill or do anything over here for Memorial Day. It's just a remembrance. I've been watching a lot of 9/11 videos lately, but that's about it.
Dude, I've gone down the 9/11 rabbit hole on YouTube so many times.
Yep.
Like so many times. But yeah, just again, thank all the men and women that have served our country. That's obviously the point of today. I will say, I got out of doing, I'm supposed to be doing the Murph challenge with the guys I go to the gym with, which is, I'm not even prepared for that. So I'm really happy we had a show today, because otherwise I'd probably be trying to do that and probably wouldn't make it through. So at any rate, TB, I'm going to come back to you. So I kicked the parlay off with the Rays. Do you know where you want to head for the parlay leg here?
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to be boring, but I'm going to go back to the Yankees. The first 5 under 2.5 for them. And if you can't get a first 5 team total, because some people in the past have said they cannot, I think full game under 4.5 is okay too for the Yankees. I would not argue with that. But since you threw it to me, some people in the chat are asking for the White Sox game. So I would like to cover this if you don't mind.
Let's go to that one. Sure.
Shall we?
Yep.
Because I did see some people asking for it. So we've got Zebulon going for Minnesota, and we got Anthony Kay, who came from the Yokohama Bay Stars, pitched with Trevor Bauer last season here in Japan. Was it last season or the season before? I think it was last. Anyways, Kay's been really good, actually. But his ranks, both of these pitchers rank pretty mediocre according to the expected numbers. The Twins have a pretty good bullpen advantage here. I got the Twins ranked 6 and the White Sox ranked 19. I'm sorry. No. That's starting pitcher. Sorry. I got Zebulon ranked 6th, where I got Anthony Kay ranked 19. So bullpens, both pretty mediocre. The White Sox have been hitting a lot better than the Twins. And the White Sox are kind of a team where the books slight them a lot. So you can take advantage of taking the White Sox team totals. You can take advantage of White Sox wins on the money line. Debbie's been pitching pretty good though. So I don't know. This one looks like an under to me. Bullpen's mediocre. Minnesota's not really hitting that well. Yeah, I like the two pitchers. This looks like an under to me.
Bryan Leonard, let's get you in here. I want to just call back. So last year, toward the end of the regular season, when we were doing this show, there was like 3 starting pitchers that I gave out and said, write this name down. This guy's going to be a breakout next year. I'm forgetting who the third one was, though. I know who 2 of them are. It was McGreevy for St. Louis. Can't remember the other one. Then the third one was Zebby Matthews. And coming into this year, I couldn't have thought. I was like, wow, I can't believe I was this wrong. The dude's in spring training. He looks awful. He gets down to AAA. He looks terrible. He's getting killed. And suddenly he gets called up. He wasn't even pitching that good in AAA prior to the call-up. He gets to the Twins, and now suddenly he's lights out. Looks like the guy that I always expected he could be. It's like blowing my mind a little bit. I don't really know what to do with that. But like TB said, he's looked fantastic the last 2 times out. He looks like a guy I want to bet on here.
I think it was McLean for the Mets was the other guy, because you seem to been on him from the very start. Yeah, I've got the same concerns about Matthews too. His inconsistency right now, he's pitching well, and I think you're paying for that. From a bullpen standpoint, the Twins have really had to use their bullpen a lot the last 3 days. So they better get a good lengthy start of 6 innings at least for Matthews, or they're going to be hurting a little bit here. I kind of look at it the other way. I prefer the White Sox. I think the White Sox are the better team. Yeah, Kay is probably not quite as good as Matthews is, but you get the White Sox playing at home as the better team, and I don't really trust Matthews. So if I'm playing this one, I kind of like the White Sox here.
Yeah, that's pretty much what is going to keep me off of this game. I too like Anthony Kay. I've been high on him since the beginning of the season. And without a doubt, if this gets into the bullpens, big advantage for the White Sox. Just a much, much better bullpen. But Zebby's at least done enough personally for me to like make me not want to go against him here, I guess is the point I'll make with this one. And again, this was one of the more coin flippish type games for me today. I was right on with where the number was. Don't really want to bet against either of these starting pitchers. So yeah, I will be sitting this one out.
I kind of wanted to hear your thoughts. That's why I picked it.
Well, I'm a pro. Like I'm still waiting for my White Sox care package from the team since I've been hyping this team up for 2 years. And now they're kind of becoming what I expected they could become. So they're not a team I typically want to fade because I still think the market hasn't fully caught up. I think now you're starting to see them maybe be priced somewhat appropriately, but it's not like, I mean, there's still pretty much some value day in and day out. The only reason there's not value here is because the Twins are still kind of considered in their stratosphere, right? The White Sox are going to have value against teams that are perceived to be better. Twins are kind of down there with them, but I couldn't really talk you off the White Sox here.
The White Sox are always perceived as the Cubs' little brothers, so they're always going to get a little bit slighted. So yeah, you can take advantage of that until they pass the Cubs in the rankings.
and they've just been straight up dreadful the last couple of years. So they're fine. This is really the first year they've had even like a remotely decent team in a while. Adrian says Adam's been a White Sox cheerleader for years. The +1.5. That's what I'm trying to say. The +1.5 days are gone. When was the last time you could have got a good +1.5, Brian? It's been a while, right? Like that's just those days are over.
Yeah, when a team starts to win, people start believing in them and they start betting on them, and then you don't get those great lines. That's why the entire season is always up and down all year long. It's like, you're going out and you're seeing waves. One day they're up, the next day they're down. That's the way baseball is. So you just can't come out. Everybody's guilty of saying, "Oh, this guy sucks" or whatever. But no, it's people get on good streaks, get on bad streaks. It's going to happen. You just got to be aware of them. If you set out, and that's the one thing I love about baseball, is if you set out, like we're to set out 1 or 2 days of not paying attention, you're lost. You're behind.
Yep.
So anybody who is handicapping baseball loves baseball because it's a daily grind, and you have to know it. It's not like the NFL where you can sit out a few days a week and come back at the end of the week and go, okay, this guy's not playing in this. No, baseball, when you play every day, you've got to be up on it. And that's why the best in business use baseball for most of their profit.
Absolutely.
Well, we need to profit in this parlay, Brian. So I gotta, before I throw it to you for your parlay league, I just have to say, like, someone's like, why don't you? So this was one of the chat comments over the weekend. I read them all. Listen, I respond to most. I read them all. You're not going to just sneak something by me in the chat. Someone's like, why can't you keep individual records? Why do you have to do the parlay? The reason we're not going to keep individual records on our plays is we do that already. We do that at WagerTalk. Everyone's record is kept. Everyone's record is accurate. And you can get exactly what we are betting on any day on the WagerTalk site. That is where you get our plays. The parlay is something that we like to do for fun. It's really a challenge. It's hard to hit 3-teamers. Listen, we're firing a 3-team parlay every day for 6 months. Last year, we finished up 5 units. That is really, really hard to do. So it's a way for us to get you some free picks. And it's also a way for us to sort of just test ourselves to see if we can get to the end of the season in front, which I'm still confident that we're going to do, even though we've had a couple bad days. So that's what I have to say about that. And I think I've pretty much said that anytime it's come up. We're going to continue to do the parlay. Yes, it is minus 3.4 units coming into today. But guess what? If we hit a 3-teamer, we're back in the plus. That's parlay betting 101 right there. It's going to ebbs and flows, big swings, because when we're hitting 3-teamers, typically they're going to be 5 or 6 to 1. So, Bryan Leonard, we have 2 legs of it. What is the game we're going to go to for leg number 3?
I'm going to a game in which I doubt if we've had anybody have any interest in talking about it, and that's going to be Houston at Texas, Amaya against Rocker, a couple of righties. I am going to play the first half under in this game. The reason being is Texas is such a great pitcher's park that and I don't think either one of these teams right now are hitting very well. In fact, Alvarez didn't play yesterday. He's been hurt, and he's the best hitter by far on either one of these teams. So he won't be playing. And Amai looked like he's starting to put it together. And he's also a guy that teams don't know that well. And Rocker, coming over from the Braves, hasn't had a lot of time against Houston. And Rocker really looked good last time out. If you watch that, he did throw 103 pitches, and that is a concern. That's more than what he has been up to this year, but he's coming off a really good start. But I'm going to use the first half of this game because I want to go based on these 2 pitchers here. I don't want the bullpens to get involved. So we're going to go under 4.5 at minus 125 for the first half under. And these are 2 guys that have shown in the past that they're better than what we have seen so far in the majors. And I don't really trust either one of these offenses right now. So let's go with that. It's a low run scoring environment anytime you play at Texas. And we've seen a lot of those games where you see a lot of 2-0 finals, that kind of thing out here. So big rivalry game, Houston, Texas, they hate each other. And I think that makes it a little bit more intense. They're not going to take this series for granted, although neither team should. But I'm going to play that under. Amai and Rocker under 4.5 minus 125 in the first half of the game.
TB, does Amai figure it out sooner than later, in your opinion?
Well, I'll make this real quick because, in my opinion, Imai is an X factor here because he looks so horrible. Sent to the minors, his first start back, coming back, he got shelled, and then he comes out and pitches 7 innings with no walks or something. So I don't know what to make of him, but I'll tell you one thing about Japanese pitchers who come over to America. Their first year is a culture shock. It's a mentality shock. It's a diet shock. And also the ball is different. So the texture of the ball, the size of the ball, and the weight of the ball are all different from what they use in Japan. So, I mean, to you and I, we wouldn't notice the difference, but to them, that's a world of difference because they're gripping it every single day. So it's like touching your fingernail. You know what your fingernail feels like. These guys know what a baseball feels like. So it's an X factor. I don't know what to expect from him. Rangers are a better team, but the Astros looked pretty good against the Cubs. So I don't know what to make of it. And to you guys in the chat, WagerTalk shows our record, our past record, and they put it up 2 hours after the game start. You can see what we bet on that particular game. So no sneaking, no hiding, no nothing. And if we misstate our record, we get suspended. So
that's right. Yeah. There's also, I mean, you can see them before the game. You just have to buy the picks, which are again up on the website and heavily discounted if you use one of the longer term options or just the double play package. It's only 3 days, but you basically get 2 of us at a very low rate. So that is a way to see them prior to the game. As far as this game, I've got sort of one thought. Brian, I'm kind of with you. I think my gut says he pitches well here. Tokyo Brandon, you're right. This dude complained about everything when he got to the States. And it's like, there's so many Japanese pitchers that have come over. You think he would have known, like he complained about when the team eats, when like he had a laundry list of complaints, the day he got here or the first couple weeks. It is now the end of May. It's the end of May. Like he's got to be getting used to it a little bit. Right. Like, I mean, at this point, like you knew you were coming to a different country to play baseball. You had to think that some of the stuff was going to be a little bit different. Brian, go ahead.
I just thought of something. I don't remember what the player was, but it happened this year. There was a player that came over to the United States, and he was used to using bidets. He couldn't believe that nobody didn't use a bidet in the United States. Hey, we have bidets. They're awesome, by the way. But he made the team. I don't remember who. Do you remember who it was? But he made the team, put in a bidet, and now all the players want to use the bidet on the team. So yeah, it's what you're used to.
Let me just say, every house, every apartment, every condominium in Japan has a bidet.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I don't remember what player that was. That's really
I don't remember either. But in Japan, every house, even in public, they all have bidets. So yeah.
Final thought on Astros Rangers for me, and again, it's going to support Brian's parlay choice here. Amai, last time out, best command he's had yet. No walks. He was around the zone the whole time. Yeah, he gave up 3 runs, but he almost made it 5 innings. But that's what I've been waiting to see from him. 5 strikeouts, no walks. His command has been atrocious to this point. But that was something I think he can build off of. And if he throws the ball like that, the Rangers probably won't score anything off of him. Honestly, like his stuff when it's on can be pretty good. So Brian, you said I got that minus 125. Can you give me the juice on TB's Yankees first? What was it, Brandon? Yankees first 5 under 2.5.
First 5 under 2.5 was minus 140 when I saw it.
The Yankees team total 4.5 minus 125.
What about for the first 5?
First 5 under 2.5 was minus 140.
First 5 team total. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Yep.
First half team total 2.5 minus 140.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we got a nice little mix here. We got a team total for a first 5 team total, first 5 full game, a first 5 total, and then I've got a play which is also a client play. So from the top, I am going with the Rays minus 118. We can call it, actually, we'll call it minus 125. I know you guys said it moved a little bit. So Rays minus 125. That is a 4% client play for me. So yeah, normally you have to go to the site to buy the plays. Today, I'm going to give you one for free. That'll be my first play that goes off today. It's an early game. So Rays minus 125 is going to be my leg of the parlay, and it's also a 4% client play. Tokyo Brandon is going with Yankees team total under 2.5. That's a first 5 team total. So Yankees team total under 2.5, minus 140. And then Brian is going to go Astros, Rangers, first 5 under 4.5, minus 125. That is your 3-teamer for today. Again, thank you to all the men and women that serve this country. So the 3 of us can come on and yap about baseball every single day or 6 days a week. We appreciate all of you guys, guys and gals, for doing that. And that's your show today. That's the 3-teamer. We'll be back same time tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern. Enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe. We'll see you guys in the morning.